Welcome to another episode of Down by the Stream. I need to get myself situated a little bit.
You know, it's always takes a second to get it all now that we're live. I should cut this stuff out when I repost it on Spotify. Do we want to turn can you guys hear that? Is that too loud?
I'll turn it down.
Because we're audio professionals and we have headphones and stuff. Well, we're doing great.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it comes down to just, being able to make sure that we're able to hear each other and, being able to make sure that you guys can hear us. So that kind of goes a long way. Welcome to another episode, a little bit later than usual. So today, or this weekend, I should say, we went out to the racetrack, and we were out there for the whole weekend. And I'm a little tired, so I'm gonna sound a little weird. So I apologize in advance. But it was fun. It was a lot of fun. And got to throw the cars around a little bit and enjoy ourselves, and a little small vacation away, sort of, kind of, maybe.
Yeah. A little race weekend vacation situation.
Yeah. But, we're back, and we're here just hanging out, and...
Bonsai's excited?
Yeah, Bonsai's excited. He's all in the shot and stuff. Yeah, the audio and Bonsai definitely miss us every time we go out, so they'll definitely be a little more seen in this episode than most. But so we are your lovely hosts. I'm Ramiro,
and I'm Chelsea,
and we appreciate all you guys watching, as usual. We'll get into a couple subjects and some topics. And it's kind of a little bit of everything. I like to, when I come up with ideas and stuff like that, I try and make it something that everybody can, something that everybody can enjoy, but some lighthearted stuff, some more serious stuff, kind of like what was going on last week. So, did you want to start with the one you left off from last week?
We could, speaking of animals, but I really haven't thought about it. It's been like a weird week. So the end of last week, I teased this one. So what celebrity voice do you think matches Bonsai or audio over here, who is not in the shot? Here, I'll show.
Oh, so it's our
everybody
animals.
knows. Well, it could be anybody's animals too, yeah, or your animals.
Okay, cool.
Who's on here that's got pets?
Yeah.
Like The Secret Life of Pets. Ouch. This one, Mr. Bitey.
Let me see.
What do you think?
For Bonsai, let me see here. Just because I think he's a little more on the aggressive end.
Yeah.
I feel like he's got more of what's that guy's name from dang it. It's like right on the tip of my tongue. He's like one of the like, I don't know if he's British or English, or I know he's European. He's always in like action movies, and he's like the not bounty hunter, but he's like Jason Statham. It took literally just to go off on a tangent.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So, I feel he'd be more of a Jason Statham kind of voice because of his aggression, and he's got like the agility and
His little attitude,
yeah.
little kitty-tude.
For audio on this instance, I don't know.
For audio, I think of like, like in Rugrats when it was like all grown up. I feel like Tommy all grown up. I always feel like that with any puppy though. Like teenage puppy. Dog.
But he's like a little older though.
He is.
Okay, I might.
I don't know.
Okay.
I thought this would be
Michael
funny.
J.
It's not
Fox.
going over well. This is like a total miss.
For me, it's Michael J. Fox because every time I look at him, I think of what's his name from Homeward Bound?
Oh, Chance?
Chance.
Yeah.
I cannot.
But I think
unsee it.
that's why, like, that's for me kind of reminds me of like Teenage Tommy, I guess. So similar to that. If there was a male version of Sassy, it would be Bonsai.
Yeah. I guess that's true. I think that would work.
Yeah, it's all about him. Peasants. You peasants are in my house.
Yeah. It's even more hilarious when he's on top of the stairs and he's like at the corner of the shelf and he just like stares down and you're like, I'm sorry, my liege, that I'm intruding on your area, but I need to go to bed.
Cats are just like that.
Yeah. But funny. I
Yeah.
like Bonsai. Some of the stuff that Bonsai does just, I mean, it drives me insane, but it's the funniest thing. Like, the whole sitting on a box thing is still, to me, it's like seeing, I don't know.
Like a unicorn? Well, no, because it's not
like
rare.
seeing a beautiful sunset.
Oh my god, I'm uncomfortable.
It's like,
oh, sorry.
it's like seeing the luminet, like the bioluminescence that happens during the...
Or like a double rainbow.
Something like that. Because it's so rare to see him do that. I still have yet to see him in the avocado bed.
I know.
Avocado bed. But I'm sure one day I'll
He's been caught, and I have it on video, so he uses it.
That is true.
He does use it. He uses your Christmas gift.
Yeah. But I don't know. What do you guys see? Either our animals or your own animal? Like, how do you, in your head, how do you picture them? Because the one thing that I will always remember, and I still find it funny, is in I Love You, Man. When they're talking to each other. I'm blanking on names right now. What is going on? But they say, oh, I call people who look like their dogs Bowsers. Because they have like the same characteristics.
That's a whole thing though too, is like people like their pets act like you and also look like you. And I was talking to one of my coworkers about that. About how like there's like memes that are around the internet that are like people that look like their pets.
Yeah.
It felt like that was going somewhere else, but couldn't say the darn words.
I think
I'm tripping out, man. It's been a weekend.
It's been a weekend. So this was going to be a bit of a trip, yeah. I've seen people who look kind of look like their dogs, but it's not always.
Oh, Dave said Ricky Gervais. He said this is what he thought you were thinking of.
Oh, yeah, not even close.
But for Bonsai, actually, yeah, totally.
I guess at the same time,
Yeah.
I guess that would work too.
I don't disagree with that at all.
Yeah, it's not a terrible one.
That's pretty good.
I mean, I guess a lot of movies kind of ruined it because, for example, like Finding Nemo, like I cannot unhear certain voices on certain fish. So when I see them like in the aquarium or on TV or whatever.
Yeah, like all.
I like Dennis Leary when he's like that one like not anglerfish but whatever that yellow and black fish. Like every time I see it, like on TV or something, I'll forever.
And it's like a dory fish and a clownfish.
Yeah.
They all have that voice.
Which is still hilarious to me that one fish is now called the dory fish. Well, not now, like.
Well, it's because I don't know what it's called.
But that's what we just call it now.
Exactly.
Everyone knows exactly what it's called. Yeah.
You know. Yeah. Right, Bonsai?
Bonsai knows. But yeah, you guys let us know what your animal
opinions. And if you have pets, post picture of your pet with who you think they sound like.
Yeah, if you have pictures with your pets. Because then we can jump back to that real quick, and then we can let you know what we think they would sound like.
Yeah, that could be fun.
That would be a fun one. Yeah. To kind of keep it on that, like, little, not necessarily the theme, but one thing I wanted to ask is, so everybody's got like a morning thing, right? And like, what is the go-to to kind of get you awake? For me, it's usually either I just force myself awake and then I get up, or a shower or whatever. But like, if you were to pick tea or coffee, not including like any energy drinks or anything like that, which one would you rather go to?
Coffee, 100%.
Yeah.
All the time, every time.
Coffee?
Coffee.
Some coffee?
Yeah, some coffee.
Yeah, and I usually try and go for, I usually keep tea for when I'm sick. Kind of like when you're like, oh, I only eat soup when I'm sick. And that's kind of
I like relate it to that. Yeah.
I can't just
associate
do tea
it.
Just to, as like a normal drink. I only do tea if I'm sick.
See, I like tea sometimes, like at night. Like I'll drink like a green tea, like that blueberry pomegranate one or whatever that I bought. That one's real good. Yeah.
Yeah. That one's actually a pretty good one. But yeah, I can't drink tea just as like a normal drink. I mean, unless that's all there is, and there's nothing much.
Amanda, I'm looking at the comments. So most people are saying coffee. Fabian said tea, and then Amanda said, "Well, coffee flavored creamer." in high school, we used to go to this gas station. Every time we would go to McDonald's, she would always get a coffee with 6 and 6 creamers and 6 sugars.
Holy
half
crap.
A small coffee also. So it's like half a cup of creamer, half a cup of coffee.
Oh, so
and her taste hasn't changed, and I don't put that much creamer in my stuff anymore, but she still does, and it's really funny.
So she's essentially having coffee with her creamer.
And that's what she said. Yes.
Yeah.
Some coffee flavored creamer.
Yeah. I used to do that, but now I just do maybe 2, like the little self-serving cups that you can get, that you get like at a coffee shop or whatever, the little tiny things.
Yeah.
I only do 2 of those with no extra sugar or anything.
Yeah. I'll do one of those, and then I do my stevia sweetener. Because I like artificial sweeteners because they're sweeter than regular sugar.
Yeah.
So it gives me that flavor, and I only have to use one package, so it's cheaper.
There's a huge study that happened, or that I think...
Amanda, you outed yourself in the comments.
But there was this huge study, I can't remember if we watched it. It was either like on Vice, or it was like... it was like one of those shows that they kind of like dig into like certain things. Probably Vice, most likely. But they were going into there's a scale of sweetness. And regular sugar is on the lowest end of
the sweet taste. Yeah, and the artificial sugars are artificial sweeteners, not artificial sugars, whatever. However you want to say it. They have like certain ones have like either twice the amount or like 8 times the amount or 10 times the amount of sweetener for the same amount of sweetener, like for a teaspoon or whatever.
Yeah. So I think
that was something on Netflix that we watched. I don't like the monk fruit stuff. Fabian said about the monk fruit. I'm not into it. And that other like natural stevia stuff, I remember that Fabian got. It was like a brown stevia.
Yeah.
Probably fine for baking. Tastes terrible in coffee, in my opinion.
I mean,
Well, I don't think he liked it either, though, and I think that's why like it's still like here. Yeah, it'd be like fine for like baking. That's like a sugar substitute, but I don't even know. I don't know for sure because I haven't tried it.
I mean, I'd rather do sugar, only for the fact that, not that like the whole conspiracy thing that artificial sweeteners are slowly killing you, but there is a defined taste between regular sugar and sweetener, like the artificial sweeteners. Like you can tell, like it tastes like almost like plastic, almost.
See, I don't think that. I don't know. I like the artificial.
But also,
One's better.
As I'm drinking like peach champagne, which is what we had as our last. Every time we go racing, we open up peach champagne because it's just been tradition. But I feel like when you go off of like a lot of sugars, or a lot of like either it's either candy or additional sugars or like sugary drinks, when you pull yourself from it and just like drink a lot of water, your sensitivity to sugar increases, especially when you really like when you get away from like artificial sweeteners. You can actually taste like, I don't know, it's really hard to describe what artificial sweetener kind of tastes like, because it tastes like plastic to me. But I only add it if I get a huge cup of coffee and those two little things aren't going to do anything. I'd rather not add more.
See, and I think it's because you like regular sugar and stuff, but then I think of like, okay, so think like a diet soda or like a regular soda. And like, I like diet soda better unless I'm like really craving a regular soda, but like the syrup, like that high fructose corn syrup stuff, like tastes so like thick and gross to me, even when it's like mixed in a soda. Is that weird?
Well,
but I guess that's how I feel about like the real sugar.
But you would add more to the soda?
No, I'm like not talking about coffee anymore.
No.
I've moved on.
No.
And said like diet soda versus regular Coke.
Okay.
And I don't like the way like regular Coke tastes, like because it's sweetened with the high fructose corn syrup sugar stuff. I don't like that stuff.
Got it.
I like whatever the hell they put in the Diet Coke, which is not high fructose corn syrup. That's not how they used to sweeten it. At least I don't think. I could be lying. If anybody fucking knows, I don't. I like Diet Coke better. Like, I literally like the taste of Diet Coke better. I don't drink it because it's 0 calories. I like the taste of it better.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Diet Coke. Now, Coke Zero is a good substitute, I guess. I guess I deal with the taste, especially if like I'm trying to stay away from like drinking more sugary things. At least trying
sorry.
to. But what Dave said, he used to eat sweet and low when he was a kid. That's crazy.
We used to put sugar in water. Like at restaurants, we would take the sugar packets and put it in our water. Me and Greg did that. You didn't do that?
No.
That was good. I don't know what it tastes like now, but I liked it when I was a kid.
Well, I mean, anything sugary, I guess, would be good for a kid. But I feel like it's just sugar water.
Yeah.
Right? Are you the guy from Men in Black who just dumps all the sugar in the water? Are you secretly an alien?
Yes.
That's overtaken.
Yes.
Chelsea's body.
Yes.
No, but I never done that.
That's what Dave just quoted. Bring me sugar in my water.
Yeah. Yeah, I did not do that. Although we used to play the sugar packet game where you would flick the sugar packet, and if a corner came off the edge of it, you had to eat it.
Just eat the sugar packet?
You had to eat the sugar packet as is. Yeah.
Like
straight sugar packet.
Like you dump the sugar in your mouth, or like you throw the packet in your mouth?
Oh no, like you just throw
Like
the
how
sugar in your
intense?
mouth.
Okay,
Yeah,
like a pixie stick.
essentially, but
Okay.
and insanely
But just
sweet.
sugar.
Yeah, it's
That's wild.
yeah. It was a dumb.
Well,
dumb
I mean, we all did weird things.
yeah. Oh yeah, see, Fabian knows. Did that at Denny's all the time. Yeah, it was fun.
Crazy.
Yeah. So it seems like coffee's more of the go-to for most people. I just I was just curious one day because before Rogue Show last week, I kind of we had a practice. Voice was like pretty shot, and then we went out to the Supercross over at the new stadium, and there was more yelling in there. So I was like, I really need to do something to kind of like get my voice back for the show on Thursday, and I was like, well, I think just honey and tea will kind of help that,
Yeah.
but that's what I usually go to. So and then the next morning I was like, should I do another tea? But then I'm like, nah, I want to do coffee. And then that's where the idea came from. I was like, what's more
Coffee or tea?
popular, like coffee or tea? So I guess there's only a handful of people who are telling us this. So yeah, and don't get me started on my wild ass omelets. Okay, they're delicious. You're just mad that it's a culinary masterpiece. So
A culinary?
culinary masterpiece. All right.
You put the cult and culinary, it's not even a word, and I like it.
What is it? Culinary? What is it? How do you say?
Culinary?
Culinary? Is it culinary? Culinary?
There's no tea.
I thought there is a T. No, there isn't.
There's no tea.
There is no tea. There is no tea in
There
coffee.
is no tea in coffee.
Yeah.
Good one. Cool.
So, very exciting news though, for all our gamer friends out there, and who are obviously mainly millennials that are on here. GoldenEye is now on Xbox and on Switch.
Dude.
So
I forgot about that.
that's super exciting.
Oh my
I have
gosh.
not gotten it yet, so I'm hoping sometime this week I can get back onto it and be able to get back into a little bit of nostalgia. But the one thing that really caught my attention is, like, what was the game that defined you to really like video games? So, like, everybody starts somewhere. Obviously, there's for most people, it was like Super Mario or the Duck Hunt game, which I think that one really was the
Duck Hunt was...
That was a staple. That
was rad.
Especially the gun and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was good. But I think the one video game that really defined my love for video games and kind of the opening of that was Zelda, Ocarina of Time. Mm-hmm. As a kid, I always remembered watching it, or watching my cousins play it, because they had it. So every time I would go up to LA, my cousin would be playing, and I would just be what is this game? Like, this is wild. And I remember, they had the guide and everything, and he was just kind of like going through the whole thing, and I'm like, dude, I really like this game. And I remember, like, hey, can I play it? Can I play it? But on the 64, you only had a few, like, you only had a few options to make a profile. So,
yeah.
all my cousins had one, so they didn't have an open one for me to be able to play. So I can't remember what birthday it was. It had to have been 8th, 9th birthday, something like that. Mm-hmm. My mom got it for me randomly. I think it was like end of school. Like, we went out of town, and she ended up buying the gold cartridge, because you had to get that gold cartridge. Or else if you had the standard one, it just wasn't as cool. And as soon
didn't some games require that, or did just require?
No, it was like their limited edition kind of.
Okay,
thing.
got it.
Yeah, it wasn't. It didn't really do anything other than It was just like a limited edition
Yeah.
type of thing. But that was my defining moment.
When you realized you liked
Yeah.
liked games.
Yeah. What was yours?
Well, I'm reading the comments here now too because I wanted to mention, because Amanda says Call of Duty, Nazi Zombies, which we used to play together a lot all the time, and that was something that I feel like got me back into video games. Chris says Metal Gear Solid.
Oh yeah, Metal Gear Solid.
I've never played that one.
That one's fun.
Left 4 Dead was one that got me too. Like that, because here's why I really like Left 4 Dead, because I could actually beat that game. But that was like me in high school, like playing on the Xbox, but like pre-Xbox, like when I would play on not regular games, just like older consoles.
Yeah.
I played a lot of Donkey Kong and I played a lot of Spyro. Also, I don't know, because it depends on what year you're asking me, because I would play The Lion King on Sega Genesis over and over and over until I beat the stupid Scar freaking level. I couldn't do it, but I loved it.
I guess what was the first game you ever remember playing?
Like the first game I remember playing, I don't know. I mean, it probably would be like The Lion King.
Okay.
The Lion King, yeah. Well, okay, no. That's not fully true, because it was The Lion King at home, but we had the NES at my grandma's house, and I remember every time we went to Florida to see my grandparents, or when they lived up here, we would go into their room and we would play Super Mario Brothers 3.
Yeah, I think playing on the Super Nintendo was my big one. Like, that really got me into it, but
I just feel like I'm going down memory lane right now, like trying to figure out what game it was that really like made me like games.
you know what game is truly underrated? And every time I'm able to like play it, it just throws me back, was the Power Rangers game for the Super Nintendo. It was just, God, it was like such a cheesy game, and it's just, I mean, it was just whatever, but I mean, you got to be whoever you wanted to be, and I always wanted to be, the Blue Ranger, because, that was my color. But I would play with everybody, all the different, Power Rangers. But the sweetest part was the ending, because you got to be one of the Megazords. And then you got to fight all the monsters and stuff. So that was like the best part.
Yeah.
And
Frank says Sonic. That was a really good one.
Sonic the Hedgehog?
Yeah.
Yeah, for the Sega. I never did anything other than Nintendo up until I was like 14 when I got my 360.
See, that's why I'm having such a hard time with this, because I feel like I always had like some sort of console. I know at one point we did have an Atari, but at that point I'm too young to really whatever. I remember having one, but I don't remember what games we had on it.
Yeah.
And then I remember getting the NES and going from there.
Star Fox.
We had that NES for so long. I remember when I was with my high school boyfriend, we freaking pulled up the our big giant box, big screen TV. It was like a 40-inch TV, but a gigantic box. And we pushed it really close to the couch. And we got the NES to stay on after blowing into the game, like a million times to get it to read the game.
Yeah.
And then it was like winter time, and it had just snowed, and we made snow cream and played NES. We played Super Mario Brothers 3 for, I think, like 12 hours.
That's rad.
It was actually really cool. Do you know what snow cream is?
No.
You make ice cream out of snow. So you take fresh fallen snow with vanilla extract and sugar, and you mix it all up, and then you eat it.
Ooh.
It's really good. My dad taught me how to make that. Something stupid.
Actually,
it's good though.
For next week, that kind of gives me a really good a good idea, because I was thinking about this the other day, like some food hacks. But we'll do that one next week, because we'll
talk about that next week.
So be here next week for some food hacks, because I got some good ones. I can legit remember what.
Also, yes, thanks Fabian for the spam comments.
Yeah, right. I can remember exactly what games got me into what genres of games. So
I see where you're going with this
yeah, so
because I'm with you on it.
for like racing games was Need for Speed Underground. That was my like it was amazing. And what game got me into first person shooters wasn't GoldenEye, and it wasn't.
Oh, see, for me, it was GoldenEye was the first person shooter that I ever played, and that's what got me into that.
Yeah, it wasn't that. It was actually Metroid Prime.
Interesting.
I know, right? You would think it would be like. I mean, GoldenEye was great. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, that itself is like a defining game, but it was really, Metroid Prime, and I think the reason why I liked it so much, or like the first person shooter games, as far as it being more of like an adventure game, like for example, like the Call of Duty games where you did the campaign, or Destiny, or I'm just blanking on some of them, but that was the defining game, because it was like you had to do some other side stuff to progress.
Did you ever play Skyrim? I know it's not
No.
really an FPS. I was just
I
wondering
tried
if you.
playing
It's like a
Skyrim.
role play game. Well, kind of. I don't know. What is Skyrim considered?
I have no
What
idea.
type of game is that?
I know it's kind of like it's like a first person like game, but it's not like a shooter.
But it's not a shooter. Yeah, that's why I was saying like what it's. I think it's kind of like a role play game versus I don't know.
Idea.
Yeah. Also, just one quick thing. Chris did confirm that Snow Cream is good, so I'm not crazy.
I can't. I tried playing Skyrim. I just couldn't do it. It was just, but from my understanding, is that game is a very grindy game.
There's a lot to do in it. I know that.
Yeah, it's just I'm not.
Amanda played it for a while, right? You played Skyrim for a while, and then I know Greg played it for a while.
It's just too
It's not your thing.
Yeah, you have to grind a lot to RPG.
RPG, yeah. There we go.
But I couldn't do the grinding portion of the whole thing, which is why I couldn't just. I need like some direction, like in Destiny. Like there is a lot of grinding in Destiny to level up to try and like do some big stuff, but I don't know. It's just at least you can play with other people and you can just talk shit over the
Excuse me.
like over the
Oh my god. Halo. Amanda said Halo. Dude, when we used to play Halo Reach, I remember because I would take my friggin' TV at her house, and it would be like we'd have 4 TVs in her little friggin' apartment, and we'd all be playing on Xbox Live together, but like in the same room. We would have a Halo party.
Never did that. Then again,
we did that so much.
My parents
so
never
fun.
ended up getting actual Wi-Fi until like 2014.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say this is before 20. I mean, this is like we moved out of our parents' house. We weren't living with our parents anymore.
Yeah,
But
even then.
yeah.
Wait, was it? Yeah, pretty sure it was 2014. Turnox Pro Skater. Oh my god, that was a good one too. I used to play that one for days.
All the games. Sledstorm. I used to play Sledstorm and Cool Borders 3. Oh, yeah. I only played 3, though. I don't know whatever happened to 1 and 2. I just remember always playing 3. And I remember Sledstorm specifically because Sledstorm was the first, that was the first time I heard Rob Zombie. And then also, Wayne Gretzky, 3D hockey. I remember that voice. Because we used to play the hockey game. Because we played a lot of the sports games.
Yeah. Never really played them other than FIFA here and there, but
I waited in line once to get the new Madden. When it was Madden, what was it, 2013? It was when I was living up here, and I went to GameStop and I waited until the release because I pre-ordered it because it's the one with Calvin Johnson on the cover, and I was like, I have to have this one.
Yeah, it's just crazy, kind of looking back and especially for gamers, what was the game that got you to go more or go
back
forward, or to just that defines what games you really like. And I love playing racing games. I love playing
I used to play Cruisin' USA for hours,
FPS
for sure.
games, just a handful of different things. But if if Nintendo puts an expansion of GameCube games on there, it's game over. Like,
What's on that thing that we have?
oh, it's a
What's on
bunch of
that
different stuff,
simulator
but it's
thing?
all like
I hate that it's a PlayStation controller,
it's
but
a PS. I think no, it's like Super Nintendo, NES, Sega, like all the older stuff. But there's no GameCube games on there.
okay. Yeah, I only played one GameCube game, and it was Animal Crossing. And I would wait all night because there was this one fish that you could only catch after midnight. It was like between like midnight and like 4 a.m. That was when you could catch him. And he was worth a lot of money. And so I would wait up all night to catch as many as I could.
Interesting. I couldn't do that either. Like I can't do
I
Animal
don't. I
Crossing.
love that.
Or,
I like that type of stuff. I mean, I didn't
like
really.
The Sims couldn't do The Sims.
I see. I love The Sims too. I loved all that. Amanda and I would play The Sims all the time.
Yeah.
I love that game. That game is the best.
But
Amanda used to have this horse game too that we would play. It was like a horse show game in her house.
There's a horse show game.
Yeah, it was a horse game, and like you hit like the space bar to like jump. And I don't know, because she did the horse thing,
Yeah.
horse shows and stuff, and she had her horse, and I don't know what type of riding she did, but I know she did the jumps and stuff. And
Yeah.
I sound like I have no idea what I'm talking about. You want to know why? Because I don't.
And the thing too, like especially the progression of video games and stuff with like the Unreal Engine 5 and just how crazy some of these games as far as details are going, it really defines, the artistic side of these games, because it's no longer, oh, we just need to kind of build a game that, looks kind of cool and has a kind of cool story background and or whatever. Now it's kind of defining the artistic side of it. I mean, there's like, for example, Forza's on our TV right now because it's on, but the detail of when it's changing seasons or when you're going from asphalt to mud to dirt, like just the dust that flies up, the car getting, scratches, or, when you're, dang it, what's that one game I just got done playing? Hold on, I gotta check.
Yeah, Fabian just said Roller Coaster Tycoon. That was another one. It was like I played Roller Coaster Roller Toaster.
Roller Toaster.
I played Roller Coaster Tycoon with my friend Jordan, and then I played The Sims with Amanda. So it's like it depended on like whose house I was at, which games we would play all night.
Yeah. Yeah, I just played the same games over and over again.
Roller Coaster. I'm still laughing at that. That was good.
So I just recently got done playing High on Life, and the detail on that game, as far as just the artistic side of that game, was incredible. I mean, the colors, the animations, the interaction between you and other people, and the gun talks too. So
well, you watch all these too, like the what do you call them in between levels, the animations or whatever, like the
like the cutscenes and stuff.
Yeah, like all that now, like it's starting to look like really real, where I'm like, am I watching a movie or am I playing a game? And it's so crazy to me, because when you were playing like Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm like, which one is this?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, you're playing a game. Like, it's so crazy.
Yeah. There was one game that
Cinematics, that's the word.
Yeah, the cinematics. The one game that really tripped me out when it came to the gameplay, and then it would go into the cinematics, was Call of Duty. Which one was it though? It was not. It was one of the ones that came out within the past couple of years. But you would finish the level, and it would literally, like, you would like do something. You go walking through this door, and you would walk in through the door, and then all of a sudden it goes straight into the cinematic. It didn't stop, do like a loading thing, and then do the cinematic. It literally went
just, like,
from
goes
the
right
game
to it.
straight into it, which threw me completely off because I'm like, what's going on? Am I still playing? And I'm like moving the stuff, and then the little button on the side, to push A to skip or whatever. I'm like, this is insane. But mind you, I had just gotten the new Xbox, so I was just thought, dang, this thing must have loaded it that fast. But no, that's just how they built the game.
Yeah.
So it was really crazy.
Yeah.
But to kind of segue into the next topic, dealing kind of with the artistic side of video games and stuff, plus the soundtracks, plus everything that kind of goes into building these games, artists in general, they put a lot of time, they put a lot of money, they put their heart and soul into their craft, and a lot of people demand a lot from them, and they do their best, but sometimes they kind of get, they'll get not yelled at, but they'll be, called out for something like, for example, like when like a big name goes on tour or something like that, and they run out of tickets or whatever to go see them, or their tickets are expensive or whatever, they call them out, and it's like, well, we don't control that, which I'm glad Ticketmaster's finally getting
In like a lot of trouble for it. Yeah.
Because of that. But one of the topics that I wrote down is, because I wrote it nicer than I'm actually going to say it right now. So like, but like, why
we
do
need
people,
like note cards?
Yeah, why do people ask so much from artists, but like never support them to continue such artistry? So, for example, like a lot of people are like, oh, musicians need to, when they like, oh, I can get you, what is it, exposure, or like, oh, I can, essentially the exposure part. Like,
Well, people think exposure is payment because of, and I think what made that become a thing is social media.
yeah,
And it's like I'll get like influencers like, oh, can you do my hair for free and I'll tag you, and it's like, well, are any of your followers in San Diego? Because if they're not going to come sit in my chair, regardless of how many followers you have.
Yeah.
Like, your follower count to me doesn't, an exposure for being a local artist doesn't do anything.
yeah,
For me specifically. Now, I guess in other industries, it could have that potential, but it's definitely that entitlement of a social media influencer, which is where that comes from. Of no, we deserve that for free, or we deserve that for a cheaper price.
yeah.
And the artist kind of always gets like kicked to the curb. I don't know. I think people kind of don't understand what goes
takes,
behind that.
Which is kind of interesting, because music, or I would say artist, is what really saved a lot of people during the pandemic. But they just, because a lot of them did
Fabian, I was able to
streams.
get free haircuts for a bit there. Yeah, Fabian lived here.
Yeah. But people, bands were doing live streams. They were doing Q&As. They were recording music inside their own homes. Like, they were doing a lot. I know, Fabian, doctor's word, saving a lot of people. That's not what I mean. But there's like a huge thing that they went out with, or to do more stuff. Like, actors, continue trying to do, to go into more filming and keeping things going. But people, once they were able to kind of go back out and do things, they were like, oh, you guys should keep doing this. And like, well, we did it because we had no choice, but now we can do shows, or we can do stuff now. Come out to a show, come pay the $10 to go see a local, your local band go play, your, hey, you were doing a live stream, buy a t-shirt that we have in stock, or, go, instead of like streaming the music, which I understand no one's ever going to buy music again since it's all streaming. I'm that type of person, and I do that all the time.
I know, but there's a big pushback on that though right now too, is that people should stop, not necessarily stop streaming because it is convenient, but to also support that artist by actually buying the album. I mean, stream it for the convenience, but the streaming, like, artists don't make like any money off of that.
Yeah.
They make money off their ticket sales, their merch sales, and their actual like music and like record sales.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's getting a lot of, it's starting to kind of get a lot of attention, I think, on social media, not on media. I don't know. Media is a broad term. But yeah.
Yeah.
Buy merch, exactly. Yeah. Buy merch. Buy tickets,
merch,
show up.
I mean, or like buy you know, an artist like canvas or a print. You know,
Yeah.
because that whole AI thing that's going on right now, there's a huge.
Oh god, that's
there's
screwing with a
huge
lot of
thing.
people.
But what's funny is that a lot of artists aren't really afraid of that AI generator because
Like at the end of the
feel-
day, like you can still only tweak it so much too. If you want something specific, you're gonna.
Well, my brother was telling me that to him it's like it's a tool, but what he also said is that, or a lot of bands, or bands, sorry, I was
Only
reading
bands? Is that
OnlyFans.
like
That's
is
what
that
I was
like
reading.
OnlyFans, but for bands? Okay, yeah, that's good.
But he
Put a
was
pin on
saying
it.
that there's a difference between, and I remember seeing this somewhere like on Reddit or something. There's a difference between a hand painted like drawing or portrait or something that has a human touch to it versus somebody throwing a bunch of photos together
completely.
through an AI generator and then making that thing. If you're trying to do something of that sort, and they even said like if that's what you want, then go for it. But if you're trying to find something that when you look at it, there's a human like
Well, when you think about it, somebody that wants something like that, there's like that human touch and that like that humanization that like a human did this, not a, I guess it's
Software.
like it's not software generated. It almost brings more value to it,
Yeah.
and then the software generated stuff is going to be less valued. I think it once this all like kind of, I mean it's getting bigger, but like I think at the end of the day, at first we think it's going to hurt artists, but I think it will ultimately. It could help them because, like Louis said, it's a tool, sure, but it's going to make the hand-painted photos that much more valuable.
yeah. Or, they get that generated, photo and they say, hey, I'd like to tweak this a specific way. Because you can only, the
Yeah, and that's what I was-
only make
That's what I was
those
saying
changes.
earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't
Exactly.
tell it to do a specific
Exactly
thing.
what you want or
Yeah.
change certain things or certain colors. It's just going to do what...
Without spending a lot of money, too, and to recreate the images, too, because it's not like it's not free.
Yeah.
And then people are just going to dump your money, and then suddenly you've dumped hundreds of dollars into it, and it's like... I mean, obviously, there's difference between, like, hundreds and thousands, but still.
Yeah. But, that's... That was a question that I can't remember why I thought of it, but it was kind of, it was something to touch on because I think the other thing too was just being like, just like this AI generator thing was the same thing that happened when music was streaming with like the beginning of Napster and all that stuff, where everybody was like, oh, this is going to be the death of music or this is going to be the death
And then it
of
ended up
artists
being
and
the
music.
death of Napster.
Well, yeah, that's kind of hilarious too. But just kind of like, if you use it as a tool and it's not necessarily like the end all be all type of thing, like you just have to use it in your own, I guess, artists have to use it in their own.
In their own benefit.
Exactly.
They have to kind of, it's like embracing that change.
Yeah, just like Pro Tools and home recording stuff. Everyone's like, oh, everybody can have Pro Tools at their house. It's like, yeah, but that doesn't mean they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Or if their room's going to be a great place to record. I will say that the Brango's first album was recorded very well in a bedroom. But
Also, there's an artist that I really like from Michigan. Rival Summers, they actually did their last album in his house, and it turned out really good. But these are musicians that have been doing it for years, and and know what it takes to make a good album. So it's not like some kid that just bought Pro Tools.
Well, Billie Eilish, didn't she do her first album in her
I think so.
bedroom with her brother?
Yeah.
So,
But you know, her brother, Phineas, that's his name.
that's such an interesting name.
Yeah, but like he's a really talented producer regardless, and he obviously has proven that through her records. But
and I think, you know, like Fabian said earlier, you know, people are cheap, and that's true. You know,
give Bonsai the mic.
Like that's literally like the most defining thing. People don't want to spend money on certain things. They'd rather get it as cheap or as free as possible, regardless of what it is. We're all guilty of it. If you say, "Oh no, I'm willing," no, everybody's guilty of it. It's just maybe you don't pay much attention to it, or I guess a good example is, would you go pay $30 for a parking spot? Would you rather go around the block 6 times for a spot to open up?
I will pay $30 for a parking spot every time.
Exactly, but not a lot of people do that. They're like, I'm not gonna pay $30 for that. I'll just
see. Yeah, I guess that's me. I'm like,
down the street.
Yeah, I won't do that. I'll be like, yeah, sure, whatever. This one's fine, and I'll pay the fucking money because yeah. But that's also I don't know why I'm like that. I'm not always like that, but usually, I would rather just pay the money.
Yeah, Fabian's like, nope, he's got legs, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it may not be big things like that musically or anything like that, but there's defining moments that you would rather get it for free or cheap.
In that example, I hate trying to find parking. It gives me a lot of anxiety. So that's. I guess it's not the same scenario, but it is. I mean, oh my god, that's cute. It was a little. Sorry. Okay, there's a thing sticking out of my socks. But I mean, that's a defining moment for me of when I would choose to pay versus walk. I don't want to do that.
And I only use that example because a lot of people would rather find a parking, like go around and find a parking spot than pay. Like if it's $10, I think most people would be like, okay, it's $10.
I think it depends on who you're with too, because like if for me it's, say I'm going out by myself or I'm meeting you, you're already there, and I can't find a close parking spot nearby, but I can find a parking garage where it's going to cost me $30. I'm gonna pay that $30 to only walk a half a block than to walk 6 blocks by myself.
I mean, that's fair.
But that's also painting a picture of a whole different scenario. But you know, but just to highlight, there are times when you just make that choice that's right for you, I guess.
Yeah. But it ultimately comes down to like those who are willing to pay for something
and those who aren't. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But one thing I wanted to do, and I still have one more subject, but I'll keep it for next week. But wanted to bring it up to you guys, or leave it open. Yeah,
bus or trolley, we do that too.
The what?
Fabian said if I could take the bus or trolley, I'll do that. But I mean, we take the trolley every time we can. Anyways, we can move on. Sorry. I'm just reading the comments now.
Oh, no, I mean, that's good to jump back on that.
Also, I'm cheap, Fabian.
I mean, I personally, I'd rather drive everywhere. Because to take the trolley to go somewhere could either be 15 minutes or it could be an hour.
It depends on where we're going.
Yeah.
Like, for the Supercross thing, like, that was really easy for us. It wasn't, I mean, like, that was fine.
Yeah.
For Garth Brooks, we took the trolley. I mean, that was great.
Yeah. Well, I think because ultimately it was going to be easier and cheaper to do it. And that's what I'm saying. Like, it was cheaper to take that than to drive there.
But that's cheaper and easier.
Yeah.
Not just cheaper.
Yeah.
Or just easier. That was just a better decision.
Technically, if we had driven there, I would have been able to get free parking. Since I work right next to Petco.
For Garth Brooks.
Yes.
And we would have had to deal with all that traffic.
Exactly.
In that crowd of people. The trolley was a better decision.
Yeah, overall. Yeah. And plus we were going to be drinking that night too, and we were going to be so it's also being just responsible overall.
The parking, I don't know if the parking was a bad decision or a bad example or a good example, but
I mean, I think we're just kind of defining it.
Sure.
Overall, yeah. But what I wanted to do is I kind of want to just leave like the last 10, 15 minutes of, our podcast just to, have whoever's on and watching, like, what do you guys want to talk about? Let's throw some questions or throw some, I don't know, things
You guys, I'm
want us
looking.
to talk about.
Yeah,
Or,
I'm looking
you know
Fergie
what?
reference.
Some life advice or advice of something, or hey, I'm trying to.
What do you want us to bring up
I'm
next
trying to
week?
Barbecue some ribs. What do you put on it? Or
That's because he wants to talk about food next week.
oh no, I'm just kind of throwing some
20-minute
ideas.
cat bongo jam sesh.
Also, I am starting to get a little hungry since we haven't had dinner. So
Yeah, well, we went almost an hour. I think we're good.
yeah. Well, I mean, we're just throwing.
We
it
can
out
chit
there.
chat. There's a lot of people here. Well, there's
James Gunn overhauling
good,
the DCU.
good people.
I'm not opposed to it because the DCU really.
Did you hear
needs
this
it.
cat butt on the microphone?
How to make the no, okay. You are the only person who knows how to make a perfect sandwich, so I'm not going on to that one. So you'll have to literally type out what a perfect sandwich is. But James Gunn at DCU, I think he's going to do a great job.
I miss Fabian
I really
sandwiches.
feel like we're going to have to kind of connect with all those like high-end
I wish I need to wear my glasses. That way I don't have to hold my phone in front of my face
superheroes and stuff.
to read these comments.
But I think you'll be okay. I mean, we just got to give him a shot. You'll never know. Like, at this point, anything to save it, I think, is probably a good idea. Yeah, would probably be a good idea. Although, to answer kind of Fabian's question, I'm not a huge fan of sandwiches.
I love sandwiches.
I'll say this though: if it's just literally a cheese and ham sandwich, that's pretty. I'm that.
Why did you set it in a weird order? It's supposed to be the other way around.
Ham and cheese?
Yeah. Why would you say cheese and ham?
Because I put my cheese on top, and I think of it when I'm putting something in order. I think of it how it goes from the top to the bottom.
No, it's the ham and cheese. This is the ham. Oh no, that's the ham. I don't know. This is the turkey.
Yeah, he's the turkey. The ham is over there. But I'm more of a hot foods person.
Yeah. You can make a sandwich hot. Oh my god, you need to try Ike's sandwiches. They're so good.
I've had Ike's.
They're
like
so
multiple
good.
times.
Really?
Yes.
Did you get the bread? The good bread?
I don't know, whatever. I can't remember which one I got. What did I get? It was
Ham and cheese. Nick Miller.
I got the fried, was it the fried chicken sandwich that they have? But it wasn't like actual fried chicken.
What was it called?
I think that's what it was called. It was like a fried chicken.
No, their sandwiches aren't called that.
I don't
Their
know.
sandwiches have different names.
I don't remember. But I know I had golden barbecue sauce, fried chicken pieces, lettuce, tomato, onion, and I can't remember what bread they used.
You didn't get like the Ike sauce?
I think it has it on there, but I don't know.
I don't know, man. We'll see.
I don't know. I've there's one in downtown. Although it's
I
been
know
closed for like
we order Ike's a lot at the salon. We order Ike's and we order. Well, we used to order Urbane, which is they have really good sandwiches too. They have really good ranch. I could talk about restaurant ranch all day. All right, what else you got?
What's the wobbly thing on a turkey's neck?
A waddle?
I don't know. What is it called? Do you know what it's called?
I would call it a waddle, but I don't know if that's what it's called.
I'm calling it giblets because I know that's not it, but it looks like a giblet.
Mr. McGiblets.
Like when you look at it and you say that's a giblet, it looks exactly what it sounds like to me, at least, doesn't it? Like when you think of a turkey neck, it's like a giblet. It looks like a giblet.
I don't know.
I don't know. I have no idea what it's actually called. Wait, apparently you got it. Dave said he got it.
It's a waddle? It's called a waddle.
Is that what it's called? A waddle? Is it the same for a chicken, though?
Probably.
Actually, here's a good one.
I thought we were supposed to be teasing these topics, and they're turning into whole ass conversations.
No. I was just opening up the floor, things to talk about. You know, like questions, like.
Do chickens have that?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm yelling now. Do chickens have that?
Just gonna talk a little bit softer now. I think so. I feel like they do.
I don't know.
The
roosters?
What's the rooster little thing? The little thingy that they got on there. What's that thing called?
That's a rooster mohawk.
A rohawk.
Yeah.
I'll take it. I'd rather take that than I have no idea what it's called. Although, nope, I don't know what it's called.
Nope, I don't know what it's called either.
Idea.
A fringe?
It's a fringe?
Dave calls it a fringe. It could be a fringe, but okay, fringe is like this.
Is that what it's really called, or not?
Dave was born in a barn. He knows all of it.
I mean, that's also fair.
I don't know if that's true. I just said that.
I'll say one thing though. I have seen like a chicken get like,
get killed
in real life, and it's pretty violent.
Well, after you cut their heads off, don't they keep running around?
No, so you're not.
I wish that was just that's not real.
Well, the way I saw it, they didn't cut the head off because of that reason. It'll still run away.
That's why you're not supposed to do that.
They grab them from their legs and they hold it up. What they do is they open the neckline.
I'm sorry, you have to rewatch that later. The delay is great because I get to watch what we do.
So you hold it from its legs up, and then you open the throat, and then you let. Obviously, you just gotta. There's no real easy way to just kind of kill a chicken kind of quickly.
You drain the blood though.
But that's
upside down, yeah.
You did. Oh, well, I saw this in.
I'm sorry. Trigger warning: if you're a vegan, don't.
Yeah, sorry. But it was the way that my aunt did it in El Salvador was she did it that way. And what was funny was my parents were like, "Don't look," because to them. And this was one thing I was telling you, like when we go to Mexico, like things are done so differently there, and it's so fresh that, like when you see, and I think for them it's the biggest thing of like either the killing of the animal or seeing the face of the animal once it's killed. You kind of like what they call.
I feel like I was like that when I was little, and I'm not so much like that now.
I can't. It's a certain word in Spanish. I can't think of it. But it essentially kind of like keeps you from wanting to eat it, and if you eat it, you actually get sick because you're thinking about
how you saw its like face.
Yeah, but so they were trying to shield me, don't look because you're not gonna want to eat it.
No, but I would be like, can I do it?
I'm still gonna eat it, and it was. I mean, I ate it, and it was delicious.
That's fucked up. I'm like, oh, could I do it? Well, that's the thing. I guess. I've had like deer hung from a tree in my backyard growing up and gutted. I've seen it all.
Yeah, I think too. If you don't grow up with it,
it's like gross, but it tastes good.
Yeah, if you don't grow up with it, then it becomes a different thing. But
we literally just got
a whole thing, yeah.
Whole ass comment on how to make a sandwich from Fabian. So that's for everybody. For anybody that wants a really good Sammy, go to the Facebook comments and read Fabian's comment.
Yeah.
So if you're listening on Spotify, if you're watching on YouTube, head to the Facebook page. Maybe I will actually just copy this into the description of wherever you are watching or listening, so that way everybody has Fabian's
how to make a sandwich.
Sammy. A recipe.
I still remember him saying he wanted to make an OnlyFans where he literally
I told him to do that.
Oh, you're the one who told him to do that?
No, not just to wear an apron, but I told him to make an OnlyFans where he's making sandwiches. Because the thing is with OnlyFans, okay,
that's a whole different discussion.
Whole other conversation. It didn't start as a sex website. It was just they're a sex friendly website where they're open to that. They're open to sex work, and in a lot of no other websites were in that form, so that was why OnlyFans got the reputation that it did, but it used to be for other things. Like it could be like a platform like YouTube where you're making, or you're just streaming live videos of you making sandwiches.
Yeah.
Like that's a legitimate thing.
Just wear an apron. No one's gonna see anything. You'll be fine. I don't know. Wear one with like a little mustache on it, or like, I don't know. You know what? Just put the pineapple on there. You'll be fine. Well, thank you guys for some of those ideas.
Yeah, that was fun.
Little topics, little things that I think that's like a really good idea. What we should do.
That was a little like fun interaction with our listeners, our viewers.
Because then, we want you guys to feel like, we're
part of the conversation.
Part of the conversation, exactly. We have our...
It's our show, but it's like our show.
Yeah. Ours. Us. So I kind of want to keep doing that, just try to have you guys like, something random pops up, or, you're have us in the background and you're doing something, you're like, oh, I wonder what their thoughts are on, I don't know.
I feel like there was another topic here that you posted on the work. You said work ethic on here, and we didn't get to that.
Yeah, that was the other topic.
Let's just get to it next week.
Yeah, and
we'll edit the caption. Yeah,
because that one was very. That one can kind of get a little lengthy, and I feel like the more like wholeheartedly question of like artists and stuff like. Kind of
our topics there was a lot
deep, so.
Which is good.
I like that one.
All right, so we'll cover that next week, among other things.
We'll
eat sandwiches, and we are going to go though, because we're going to go eat dinner.
We're going to go do something.
We were supposed to order it like halfway through, but that's not how it happened.
It's okay.
That's okay.
It's all right.
Well, thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you.
Like and subscribe and whatever. We are on Spotify and YouTube. Just a quick reminder. So if you guys ever want to watch the replays and you don't want to get on Facebook, or you're driving in your car and you just want to listen, it's on Spotify and it is on YouTube. So and we are on Instagram, and all the links can be found to those things on Instagram. I'm trying to link them on the Facebook page, and it's been giving me a lot of trouble. So I'm working on linking it directly to Facebook, but if you are following our Instagram, all the links are on there. So
just, and as always, send us any questions or topics you'd like us to talk about, and we'll jump into those conversations, and obviously we'll just kind of figure out whether or not those are worth talking about, or maybe wording them differently or something. But just send us your ideas or what you got, and we'll do what we can. So but
until next time.
Until next time, everybody.
See you next week
for joining us. Next week we'll be at 5. We'll be later. So, and then Super Bowl Sunday. Well, we'll figure that out.
Super Bowl Sunday might just have to be a different day. We'll figure that out. Or it could be no, I don't know. We'll figure that out. All right, bye.
We'll see you guys.